Well, welcome everyone. My name is Kurt Barber. I am an NFL alum. I played linebacker for the New York Jets, Chicago Bears, and Denver Broncos in the 90s. I was an All-American at the University of Southern California. And I'm going to talk about linebackers today and linebacker play. I'm going to use the dry board behind me. I'm going to try and save the last 20 to 15 minutes for questions. Okay, so I'm going to go through this thing as quickly as I can, and we'll save the last 30 to 20 minutes for questions. Okay, and we're going to talk about linebacker play and the fundamentals for linebacking play. In my opinion, the number one thing are the eyes. It's very important where you put your eyes. So for those of you who are taking notes, I'm going to give you the bullet points to exactly what I'm going to talk about. The number one thing is eyes. Number two is posture. Number three is footwork. Number four is blow delivery. Number five is tackling. Number six is coverage. And then number seven is pass rush. So we're going to talk about those 7 topics as quickly as I can. So I'm going to get on the board. Let me push this back a little bit so you guys can see me on the board. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about, all right, are the eyes. Okay, so when we talk about the eyes, we're talking about your vision, what it is the linebacker needs to see. Okay. So we're going to put a tight end there. We're going to put a Z and an X. Okay. I guess 2, 4. Am I missing a guy? 2, 4. Well, let's do. Let's go 2 back. Okay, we'll go full back, running back. There we go. Okay. So now when we talk about the linebacker, so it could be a couple of different fronts, a 3-4 front or a 4-3 front. I'm just going to talk about the linebacker. So we're just going to draw a line across, all right? So you got a corner here, corner, all right? Strong safety, free safety. So you got your Mike backer, your middle backer, outside backer, wheel backer. Okay. Typically, these guys are about 5 yards off the ball, off the line of scrimmage. Their heels being at 5, not your toes, but your heels. Okay. So when we talk about eyes and we talk about vision, what's most important for you to see? Okay. There's a number of things that are important for the linebacker to see. The first thing that the linebacker should study in the film room when you're watching film, he needs to understand the quarterback's mannerisms, the quarterback's cadence, the quarterback's motion. What does the quarterback do? So if this is the center, does the quarterback look to his right? Does he look to his left and then get under center? Does the quarterback get under center and start talking to the offensive lineman? The quarterback and pretty much everybody on offense, they have tendencies, right? They have things that they do that kind of give an idea to the defense of what's coming. So the linebacker is going to be looking at that quarterback. He's going to be looking at the offensive lineman, okay? And seeing what they do. Some offensive linemen will get down in the stance, and offensive linemen normally point to who they're going to block. Okay, if there's a double team, one offensive lineman will tell the other offensive lineman, hey, we're going to double this guy, or I'm gonna combo this guy and work my way up to the linebacker. Or they'll communicate, say, I'm blocking back. So a lot of indication can come from watching the offensive line pre-snap. These are all pre-snap indicators. So that linebacker has to have his eyes on the quarterback, and he's watching the offensive lineman, okay? We have a thing that we called rocket and train, okay? Rocket is if an offensive lineman is sitting back in a pass stance. He's sitting back, he's light on his toes, he's sitting back. We said rocket, that meant pass, okay? That meant pass, and there's a good chance, it's not always 100% accurate, but it's a good chance that they're going to throw the ball. If the offensive lineman is heavy on his fingertips, if he's leaning forward, okay? We said train, we said choo-choo train, right? That meant they're probably gonna run the ball, or it could be play action. But it's a really good indicator that the offense is getting ready to run the ball based on what the offensive linemen are doing in their stance. These are all pre-snap reads, okay? So I'm just gonna put up here pre-snap. Okay, pre-snap. Before the ball is snapped, we're getting as much information as we can get about what is to come, about what the offense is going to do, okay? So we talked about the offensive line, their verbal commands, their physical commands, their footwork. Now we talk about formations, okay? 2 backs in the backfield with a tight end, 2 receivers. Based on our film study, that may tell us that's a big time running formation. Maybe 75% run, 15% play action, 8 to 9% pass. Whatever it is, the formation is going to be an indicator as to what the offense is doing. Let's say they've got this formation where the Z is on and the Y is off. Or you got the X over here with the F off, right? Our film study is going to say this formation is more of a pass formation. Probably 80% pass, 10% run or play action. So again, these are pre-snap indicators as to what the defense is going to get. The linebacker, being the quarterback of the defense, has to be in tune with all of this, and it starts with his eyes. Where is he putting his eyes? Quarterback's mannerisms, offensive line mannerisms. These are all pre-snap reads, okay? So we talked about the formation, okay? Another good way to help your linebacker become a better linebacker, when you're watching film and you're looking at these plays, I would let the play run for the first 3 steps, and then I would ask my linebackers, what play is it? By the 3rd step, they should be able to diagnose if this is a run play or if this is a pass play, okay? Based on their keys and what they're looking at. So again, as you're watching film with the purpose. You're talking about down and distance. You're talking about formations. You're talking about the mannerisms and the indicators pre-snap to give you an idea as to what is to come, so that this linebacker can anticipate. For everyone on defense, anticipation is key. Having an idea of what is coming is extremely important. Anticipation is a key, very vital. So we've talked about the importance of eyes and anticipation with the formation and the indicators, okay? Now, the next thing is footwork, because this is all pre-snap, right? So your linebacker, his position. I've seen some linebackers get too low in their stance, but most linebackers, their feet should be parallel. Your heels should be under your armpits so that you have a nice base, okay? You want your feet parallel, okay? You want a nice bend at the knee. You don't want to bend over at the back. You want to bend in the knee. There's a big difference. So the linebacker should bend in the knee, and he should be comfortable with his chest up, okay? So that he can see over the offensive lineman. You want to be able to see over the offensive lineman, okay? So you don't want to be bent down like this at the back. You want to bend at the knee, okay? With my chest up so I can see over the offensive lineman. That is a good posture. Okay, so after the eyes comes the posture. Okay. Now, after the posture comes the footwork. Okay. Now, the footwork of the linebacker, okay, these are his feet, okay. The first thing I teach my linebackers to do is to buzz their feet, all right, when the ball is snapped. The reason I have them buzz their feet is so that they don't take off and just go somewhere when the ball is snapped, because you've got to diagnose the play. So when the play happens, you've got to see where the offensive linemen are going. You've got to see where the running back is going. If you get downhill into the line of scrimmage too fast, you can get picked up by traffic. What I call traffic is when you get downhill too fast. So when a linebacker is diagnosing a play, one of the first things I like for him to do is buzz his feet. He doesn't have to go anywhere. You don't have to go anywhere, but you're just going to buzz those feet and diagnose the play. You may even shuffle a bit. You may buzz those feet and then shuffle a bit. Now, the important thing about buzzing your feet and then getting a shuffle is so that you keep your distance. One of the greatest benefits to linebackers is time and distance. You're 4.5 to 5 yards off the ball, you got distance, and you've got time to dissect the play. If you get downhill too fast, you can get caught up in traffic, okay? So we want to buzz our feet, get a nice shuffle in, and be able to dissect the play. So let's say it's a mixed direction play. It's going that way, then it's coming back, or it's going this way and it's coming back. A linebacker should look like this. If the ball is snapped, and he's getting guys going in different directions, his footwork should look like this. He's going to buzz those feet. He may even shuffle, and when it comes back the other direction, he's got a good base. His feet are not close together. Close together is bad. You don't want your feet close together. You want your feet arms width apart, all right, under your arms pit, all right? So if you shuffle and you come this way, now you got a good base, and you can go back the other way with your shuffle, okay? So again, you want to maintain your shuffle. Buzzing your feet allows you to maintain that shuffle. Okay, so I'm buzzing my feet, now I'm shuffling, now I can change direction and get back the other way. So for linebacker play, your footwork, you want to buzz your feet, always maintain a good shuffle by keeping your feet at least shoulder width apart or under your armpits, okay? So footwork is crucial for all three positions. If you're a 3-4 defense where you got 3 down linemen and 4 linebackers in all 4 positions, It could look like this, where you've got a Will, a Sam, a Mike, and a Buck. You know, so again, depending on your scheme, you can have 3 linebackers or you can have 4 linebackers. But your footwork is crucial. Don't be in a hurry to jump on the first movement. You've got to be able to diagnose the blocks. Now, it's going to be a little bit different for the linebackers who are on the line of scrimmage, your outside backers, okay? It's going to be a little bit different for these guys than it is these guys. The difference between the outside linebackers who are on the line of scrimmage is they do not have time and distance because there is a guy right in his face. There is a guy right in your face that can block you. So you don't have time and distance. You've got to take that guy on right now. These guys are 4.5 to 5 yards off the ball. They've got time and distance. They can buzz their feet. They can shuffle and get back. Okay? So now, after we talk footwork, okay, the next most important thing is blow delivery. Okay, blow delivery. Okay. Blow delivery is how you take on somebody, how you take on a block. It's extremely important and crucial to your violence, the velocity, the power that you have in blow delivery. You got to be powerful. You got to be violent. You got to be quick. And your power comes from your hips. You've got to learn how to unlock those hips and bring that power. So as a linebacker, and I'm here, and I take on that offensive guard, it's just a short, all right, boom, all right, shoot those hips. That's where your power comes from. Now, the reason you shoot those hips and those arms, you've got to create separation, okay? You've got to create separation and get that blocker off of you, whether he's an offensive lineman or a tight end or a back. You've got to create separation. So anytime these guys shuffle and go take on a guy, okay, they're going to take on that blocker. Let's say you got a zone play here. Okay. And this guy comes up to take that guy on. You got to create separation. Separation is key. So how do I create separation? You create separation with your hands, sometimes even your hat. You may get your face in there and you shoot your hips and you lock your arms out and you create separation. And then you got to keep those feet going. You got to keep your feet buzzing, okay? The other thing about creating separation is you've got to get your hat to the side of the ball, okay? You got to get your hat to the side of the ball. So let's say they're running zone here. Shuffle, 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 get downhill, take it on. Shuffle, 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 get downhill, take it on. Your hat needs to be play side. When you take this guy on, your hat needs to be play side, all right? So you got to deliver a blow and get your hat to play side. You got to have your play side shoulder free, all right? That's the only way a linebacker can come off a block to make a tackle is he's got to create separations with his hat, hands, and hips and feet, keep the play side shoulder free to be able to disengage to come off and make a tackle. So, and I just made a really good point. Along with blow delivery comes this word, disengage. Okay? Disengage is what I call down and away. You're getting rid of that blocker and you're throwing him down and away. So as I come and I take on a blocker and I disengage, down and away, all right? You got to get rid of that blocker. You can only get rid of the blocker. By creating separation. How do I create separation? Hat, hands, hips, feet, down and away, getting rid of the blocker, all right? That gets you free to make tackles. It's hard and very difficult for a linebacker to make tackles while he's tied up. If you're tied up with a blocker, it's very hard to make a tackle. So you got to make the play once you've engaged in the block, created separation, and disengaged. Now you're free to make a tackle. All right. Now, we've talked about blow delivery, delivering a blow, and how important that is to make a play. Okay, because until you deliver a blow and disengage from that blocker, it's very hard, very difficult to make a tackle. So now, after blow delivery and disengaging, we want to talk about tackling. Okay, tackling. Okay, now, how to tackle properly. Okay. With the new rules of not being able to use the hat in tackling, we're now using the chest and the shoulder plates with our hips and our feet. Okay, chest, shoulder plates, hips, and feet. So if this was the center, this is the running back, okay? This is the linebacker. When that running back is coming here, this linebacker should attack inside out. You want to take away the inside. You want to take away the cutback. But that linebacker is going to get his head across the running back. We call it across the bow, which is across his midsection. He's going to get his head across the running back. He's going to shoot with his hands and his hips and then run his feet and make that tackle. But it's important to take away the cutback, get your head across the bow, bring your hips, run your feet, and tackle with the near shoulder. Okay, and tackle with the near shoulder. Now, we call this angle tackling. There's several different ways to tackle. So you got angle tackling. This is angle. Okay. Now, what if it's head up? What if this running back is coming directly at you? Okay. And you're in a position where you're coming directly at the running back. So you're attacking him. You still want to kind of take the side, okay? You're going to work to a side, and you're going to use that same technique. All right? Near shoulder, head across the bow, bring my hips, run my feet. Okay? So you have angle tackling and you have direct tackling when it's directly in front of you. Those are the two tackling points that you have, okay? But your power comes from your hips. So as you're going to tackle, when you shoot your hips, that brings your arms. When you shoot your hips, now you're running your feet, you're running through the tackle. Okay, now we're going to talk about coverage. Okay, now we're going to talk about coverage. So, I'm going to draw a short diagram of the field. These are the hash marks. These are the numbers. Okay. In the field of play, this is considered the flat. Anything outside of the numbers, okay, considered the flat. The curl is considered anything inside the numbers. Okay. The hook is 2 yards either side of the hash. That's the hook area. The hook. And this is the middle hook. Okay. Linebacker drops are about 12 to 15 yards. Okay. Linebacker drops. So these backers, okay, let's say, let's go Mike, Buck, Sam, Will. Okay. Depending on the coverage, let's just go cover 3. Cover 3 is a basic coverage. So we're going to go cover 3. Okay. In cover 3, your outside backers, they are curl flat droppers. So they're going to drop to the curl flat. They'll drop to the curl and go to the flat if their coverage takes them to the flat. Outside backers, cover 3, curl flat droppers. Okay. Your Mike and your Buck are hook droppers. Depending on the formation of the coverage, they're going to be middle hook to right and left hook. Okay. So now we've talked about the zones. The question is, Coach, how do I get to my zone? Well, first, you got to have your pre-snap reads, eyes, posture, footwork, all right? Pre-snap reads. When you read pass, you always play run first. Always play run first. When you read pass, you're going to flip your hips, open your hips to your drop. Open your hips to your hook, your curl, or your flat, okay? Now we're talking about zone. These are zone drops. Now, some people coach zones differently. I coach zone where you may have a zone, but you have that zone as it relates to a receiver, because we're not going to cover space. The ball is going to be thrown to a receiver, so we want to relate to the receiver. So if I'm a hook dropper, I'm going to relate to the receiver that's in my hook. Okay? If the receiver is not in the hook, then I can sit down and wait for someone to come into that hook. If I'm a curl flat dropper, I'm going to push to the curl and relate to the receiver that's in that area. So if the ball has not been thrown, I like my linebackers to be about 4 yards away from the receiver as we work to our drop, whether it's the curl, whether it's the flat or the hook. Okay? If the ball has not been thrown, we're about 4 yards from the receiver, working our way to the receiver, because the ball is going to be thrown to the receiver, but we got to get in our zones. And so we buzz our feet. When the ball is snapped, we repass, boom, we flip our hips, we crossover run. Crossover run means keeping that same foot in front as you work your way to your drop, okay? If your drop is a little bit straight back, you may crossover run and then get into a nice back pedal, okay? There's several drills that we can teach you so that you can master how to drop with the perfect pad level and footwork. I will say this, that linebacker, he should always have his chest over his knees. So as I'm dissecting the play, reading the lineman, reading the quarterback, I'm buzzing my feet, I'm here. Even when I flip my hips, my chest still over my knees. And even when I cross over run, my chest is still over my knees, all right? You never stand straight up. Your knees should always be bent, and the linebacker's chest should always be over his knees, okay? So that is coverage. And the last thing that I'm going to cover is pass rush. Okay. Now, in pass rush, it really depends on which level you're coming from. So if this is the offensive line, there's your quarterback. Here's your running back. I'm gonna put two backs back there, okay? So let's say you got a Will, Sam, Mike, and a Buck. The advantage that the linebackers have is that they're coming from depth. Even if you're on the line of scrimmage, you've got about a 3-yard sprint before you get to the blocker. So you can generate some speed. So what I tell my linebackers to do is, you're gonna sprint. You're gonna sprint the first 3 yards, okay? You're gonna sprint those first 3 yards before you have to encounter a blocker, okay? So with the inside guys, they may encounter a guard. Those guys are going to encounter a back. So you got a 3-yard sprint before you encounter a block. When you take off and you sprint for 3 yards, he's going to be trying to embrace, all right, the contact. We're going to shake and bake, give him some hand movement, and then you're going to take a side. You're going to attack a shoulder, either the outside shoulder or the inside shoulder. But you're going to attack a shoulder, one of the shoulders, all right? And we're going to attack that shoulder with both hands, and we're going to work to a rip. I like to teach one move. It's a stab, rip, stab, stick the rip, stab, stick the rip, all right? And come free. There's other moves that you can work, but we want to start off with the basics, and that's a stab to a rip, all right? So for both of these guys, 3-yard sprint, shake and bake, stab and rip, inside or outside. Same thing for these guys. Sprint, shake and bake, stab and rip, shake and bake, stab and rip, stab and rip. So the club rip is really the easiest pass rush to teach. I've coached everything on defense, defensive line, linebackers, safeties, corners. Teaching pass rush, the easiest move to teach is a club rip, all right? And so we can get to that with the linebackers with the stab and the rip. So I will pause right there and leave this open for questions. If anyone has any questions, let me see the time. I think we got about 20 minutes. So if anyone has any questions to something that's specific to your scheme or your alignment that you want me to go over, please go ahead. Is anybody there? Did I lose everybody? Everybody got bored?
No, Coach. Thank you for the information, and I'll try to welcome you on behalf of my colleagues. I have a question about linebackers. Do you think like the mechanic of rushing? Do you think that the handwork and the technique that they when they try to rush the QB, is it like it must be one technique, or it should be like different techniques at talking like mechanics, and I don't know if you understand me.
Yes, the first answer to your question is I start off teaching one move. The reason I start off teaching one move is because you're better off mastering one move than trying to teach 3 or 4 different moves. Get good at mastering one technique. And if you're good at it, if you've mastered it, that technique will help you beat that offensive lineman or that running back. Master one move. And as I stated earlier, I believe the club rip is the easiest pass rush move to teach. You club with one hand and you rip with the other and you come clean. Typically, the offensive blocker will give you a side. I like to teach my guys to take whatever side they give us, all right? Take the side that they give us, beat them with a club rip, and get off and get to their quarterback as quick as you can. But I typically don't teach more than 2 moves. I start with one. The second move is a counter. Usually a counter is a spin move or a move that can help you come free once you've taken on the blocker. But I start with one pass rush move, whether it's a bull rush, a speed bull rush,
Yes,
or a club rip. But I start off just teaching one pass rush move. Does that answer your question?
yeah, I would just like to add, do you think that the dominant leg plays a role in reading the blocker's effort? Like when he's trying to block the linebacker in a rush, do you think the linebacker should read which leg is the dominant in this case?
Well, again, if I understand you correctly, when you're trying to decipher information while you're playing, it happens really quick, right? It happens really fast. So if there's something that you can key in on that's on film and you're talking about a dominant leg,
Yeah.
if are you talking about an offensive lineman or are you talking about a running back on the second level? Who are you referring to?
I'm talking about like an offensive lineman, because a running back, he's like going straight, but in a lineman case, he's always like, if we take like a left side or right side, the right side, the dominant leg should be like the right leg, so he's always
Right.
moving in the. That's what I'm saying.
So yeah, absolutely. I think there are some tendencies and some weaknesses and strengths that you can locate with all offensive linemen in their stances, in their footworks, and even their punch, how they punch their hands.
Yes,
I
sir.
think as you go through film study, you can definitely identify their strengths, their weaknesses, whether it's a strong leg on the outside or how well they move the inside leg. But when you watch their stance and you're watching film, you're going to get some really good indicators on how well that offensive lineman moves to his right, to his left, and which leg is dominant. And to be able to attack that pre-snap is pretty good. If you can identify that through film study and you're going in and you're saying the game plan is we're going to speed up the field and come back inside and attack his inside leg because he doesn't move it very well.
Yes.
Those are good indicators. Absolutely. That should help you. Absolutely.
Yes. Thank you, coach. That's all for me.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Any other questions?
Coach Barber, Sebastian talking.
How you doing, Seb?
I'm great. Thanks so much, Coach. And you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm waiting on my next load of fondue.
Okay. Question as you know, I'm more knowledge about offense, but as linebacker, what is your key read? Do you read for the quarterback, for the O-line, for the running back, or do you mix your A's between those 3 positions?
Okay, good question. I'm giving to you 1, 2, and 3, the most important. Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. For the linebacker, your number one read is the offensive line. Okay. Your pre-snap indicators are going to come from the offensive line. You know, as being an O-line coach, you get down to your stands, two guys are pointing at the guy, and they're talking and they're communicating, right? They build up rapport, they build up tendencies, okay? So you're going to pick up on that. The second is going to be the quarterback, okay? And then the third is going to be the running back. You know, the quarterback will get on the center. If it's a run play, he may not do anything, okay? He may just bend his knees and snap the ball. Or if he's in shotgun, it may happen a little quicker if it's run. If it's pass, the offensive line may do a little more talking about where they're going to slide, who they're going to block. The quarterback may lift his knee and bring a guy in motion, or he may hit something to tell a receiver to run a different route. There's a bunch of indicators that may happen if it's pass. If it's a running back and he's getting the pass protection and he's got to stay in and pass protect, he may point at the linebacker that he's got.
Qu'est-ce que vous pensez de l'évolution de ce cinéma-là?
Non, parce qu'au début, on a dit ça.
Coach, could you turn your mic on?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do I need to repeat anything, Seb? Did you get all of that?
No, it's okay. I got everything. Thank you so much, Coach.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Typically, the linebacker's vision will start with the offensive line. Because that's your first level of blockers. Those are the guys that's going to get to you first. So your vision will start with the offensive line, and then everything else is secondary.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
We got a little bit of time, I think. I've got about 15 minutes here. Any other questions?
Hey, Coach, this is Mark. Thanks for doing this presentation. Appreciate that.
Mark, you're welcome. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. I hope that you can translate this to your guys and they can pick it up. I'm definitely more than happy to do it again if I need to, whatever I can do to help.
Yeah, sure. No problem. Hey, I know there might be some
You,
new young coaches on the call. Do you have some key linebacker drills that they can run and practice to get repetition, to build muscle memory on the techniques that you talked about?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So when you talk about drills, okay, when you talk about drills for linebackers, the first drill I start with is a buzz shuffle. Okay, so I will have a cone here. This is a cone, okay, and a cone here, okay? Cone here, cone here. I'll put my linebackers here, okay? When I say hit or give a cadence, they buzz. So they're in the perfect linebacker stance, and I say hit, then they buzz their feet and they stay down. They're just buzzing their feet. So they buzz their feet right here, okay? Then when I give the second cadence, then they shuffle, okay? And then when they get to this cone, they can sprint okay? Pass rush move, that's pass rush, or tackle. So at the end of the drill, you could have a pad here to pass rush, or a running back to tackle, or they can just sprint, okay? So the first drill is, again, you would have another backer here. So we go buzz, buzz, buzz. Sometimes I call it hot feet. We're just buzzing those feet as fast as we can. Then on the second cadence, he's going to shuffle. Now, understand this. It's real important to learn how to shuffle. When you shuffle, you always go near foot first. If I'm going to my left this way, that foot moves first. I get this one down as quickly as possible. That one goes again. I get this one down as quickly as possible. If I'm going to my right, I lead step, get the back foot down as quickly as possible. Lead step, get the back foot down as quickly as possible. That's how we shuffle, okay? You never bring your back foot first. If I'm going to my right and I move my back foot first, look at the position of my feet. I've got a narrow base, I got no power. You never do that. Whatever direction you're going in, that foot goes first, the back foot gets down as quickly as possible. You don't want to cover too much ground with your back foot, it's going to narrow your base. Reach, get it down quick, reach, get it down quick. That's our shuffle, okay? Reach, get it down quick, reach, get it down quick. All right, that's our shuffle. So here, buzz, 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 reach, get it down quick, reach, get it down quick, reach, get it down quick. Pass rush, tackle, or just sprint through, okay? That's one drill. Any questions about that drill? That's just one of them. Any questions about that one?
All good.
We're good? Okay. So we'll do that one going and then coming back, okay? Then that first drill is the foundation for every other drill. That first drill is the foundation for every other drill. So now we'll shuffle at an angle. So now we'll buzz, shuffle at an angle, sprint downhill to tackle. Buzz, shuffle at an angle, sprint downhill to tackle. Okay? It can be direct tackling or it can be angle tackling. The beauty of these drills is you're working footwork, but you're also working tackling. And any good defensive player has to be a good tackler. You got to work tackling a lot. Okay? So we'll do that left and right. Okay? And then I have, we need one more drill. One of my favorite drills that incorporates everything. So here are my backers. I got a bunch of backers right here, okay? There's a line of them. There's a line of backers, okay? We're gonna face that direction, okay? So we're gonna shuffle until you get past the cone. So this is shuffle. Okay, shuffle. Here now, he's gonna crossover run. Okay, so here's crossover run. Cross over run. Okay, from there, he's going to backpedal. Okay, when he gets to here, okay, then he crossover runs again. Okay, and then here, rather than having him backpedal again, he's going to shuffle. So this would be another shuffle. And then you'd have somebody throw him a ball here. He'd catch the football. Right there. He'd catch the football. Okay? So you got shuffle to the right, crossover run, backpedal, crossover run, shuffle to the left. So this is the right shuffle. This is the left shuffle, catch the ball. So in this one drill, we've incorporated the shuffle, crossover run, the backpedal, crossover run, the shuffle, and we're catching the ball. So in that one drill, we've touched on pretty much everything that's important for a linebacker. Any more questions on that? I hope everybody got that. We got about 5 minutes left. So, again, I want to thank you guys for having me. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope we're able to do this again and just follow up. Maybe you got some more questions later. But I want to make sure that I give a special thank you to Mr. Mohammed Sufani. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Mohammed Sufani. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. And Mark Bright, thank you guys. We appreciate it. Maybe we can get over there and do some things in person.
Sure.
Yes.
Really
sure,
have
Coach.
some things.
We're gonna work on that.
Yeah. I would love to do it. Would love to do it. I love this game so much and what it does for our young people and the people that are affiliated with the game. It teaches a lot of important life lessons. So we really love that.
Yeah, thank you, Coach. Another time. Thank you, and we'll be glad to have you here in Morocco in order to profit from your experience and your knowledge in this sport. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you very much for having me. And again, if you guys have any questions, you can get my email if you want to send me anything. Please email me and I'll respond right back to you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Coach.
Have a good day, gentlemen.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Coach.
Nice day. Thank
Good
you.
day.